Hello friends, now I am going to discuss with you about medieval literature. So earlier we have studied about ancient Indian literature, right? We have discussed up to last lecture. So first I want to discuss the meaning of medieval period. In Indian history, medieval period starts by emergence of sultans, the rulers in Delhi, Muslim sultans, when started to rule in Delhi after defeating Prithviraj Chauhan in 1195 CE. So medieval age is giving us lots of the new literature and languages information. As with the development of the Muslim rulers, the Persian language, Persian means Farsi language, Urdu language, right? Both also developed here from the Islamic culture. But our Hindi, our Gujarati, our Sanskrit, and Dravidian languages, Tamil, Telugu, Kannada, Malayalam, all remain exist with regional languages like Bengali, like Awadhi, like Gujarati, like Rajasthani. Rajasthani is combination of two languages, Hindi and Gujarati. Maharashtrian language. So many languages have been developed in this period, and lots of the literature has been written in this period. So keep in your mind that medieval age in northern India has given multi type of languages information to us. Here I want to start the first about Sanskrit literature in medieval period. It starts with two great works in Kashmir. First is Katha Sarit Sagar, the compilation of stories written by Somadeva. The second work is Rajatarangini. It was written by Kalhan. Here you remember, Rajatarangini is considered as first authentic historical book of India in Sanskrit language. See, earlier the scriptures have written, epics have written, Purans have written, so many information have been collected. But in the historical context, this is the first book as the world follow the history. So it is important to remember. Okay. The third work is of Jayadeva, a poetic work named as Git Govind. So the third work is Git Govind, created by Jayadeva. Finest poetic work in the Sanskrit language, a poems about Lord Krishna has been given here. So remember that Sanskrit language, it was already in the earlier period of ancient India, and it continued in medieval period. But as time passed, the importance of the Sanskrit was somehow reduced because it became the time by time it became the language of religion. Okay. Another written work in Sanskrit was done in South India. It was done by Shankara. The literature was named as Bhashya. I repeat, the literature was named as Bhashya by scholar Shankar or Shankaracharya. Okay, I explained here about the Sanskrit work in northern India and in southern India. Now I want to explain one discussion of early Hindi literature written by Chand Bardai, compilation of account about bravery works of Prithviraj Chauhan. It is known as Prithviraj Raso. Raso means the compilation of bravery work. It is called Raso. And it was about bravery work of Prithviraj Chauhan. It was written by Chand Bardai. So it is considered as early Hindi literature. Remember, this is short question answer. Now I want to discuss some Kannada literature here and Tamil literature here given in the book. So first I am going to discuss about Kannada literature, then the Tamil literature. So it can be considered as medieval Indian Dravidian literature. Okay, let's start by the Kannada literature. The three people, the three poets, Pampa, Ponna and Ranna. Pampa, Ponna and Ranna are considered as trio of Kannada literature. Pampa, Ponna and Ranna are considered as trio of Kannada literature. Out of the three, Pampa had wrote or composed Adi Puran and Vikramarjuna Vijayanti. I repeat, Adi Puran and Vikramarjuna Vijayanti was written by poet Pampa. Both books were mainly influenced by Jainism. Right? The second poet is Ponna. Pampa, Ponna. Now second one is a Ponna. Ponna had composed Shanti Puran. Shanti Puran is about 16th Jaina Tirthankara of Jainism, Shantinath Ji. It is a life sketch described by poet Ponna. The third one is poet Ranna, who described Ajitnath Puran about Jaina Tirthankara Ajitnath Ji. The life sketch is being described. And the next one is a Gada Yuddha. Okay, I want to add one more point. See, as about Gada Yuddha, you can easily understand that it is about Mahabharata. So here the another influence on the Kannada literature is of Mahabharata. As I told earlier about Jainism, the second influence on the Kannada literature was of Mahabharata. So remember that Pampa, Ponna and Ranna are considered as best poets of medieval period in Kannada literature in Dravidian culture. The next language is the Tamil language. Here in Tamil language, in your book, one composition is written that is of Tamil Ramayanam, written by poet Kamban. See, in India, 27 type of Ramayana has been written in different languages. So the basic plot is the same, life sketch of the Rama. But as the time, as the language, as the culture, some historical explanation could in different way. But the basic context remain same. So here poet Kamban had written Ramayanam in Tamil, so it is known as Kamba Ramayana also. Actually, some other works were also done, but in your book is not given, so I am not going to discuss, right? But remember, in the medieval period also, earlier in the ancient period, we have understood that Tamil literature was written in extensively better. So the same was continued in the medieval period. Okay? So here I discussed about Dravidian literature of medieval period. Right, my friends? Next one is about, so now see, I am going to discuss about detail of Indian regional languages. Generally, every region has their own language, dialect and script. I earlier said one statement that language includes two things: dialect, to speak, and to write. It is called script. When script and dialect both combined exist, then the language could develop. Clear? So, in the time of Delhi Sultanate, Sultanate means when Prithviraj Chauhan was defeated by Muhammad Ghori, he went back to his kingdom with taking Prithviraj with him. And in India, he appointed, means Muhammad Ghori appointed one officer, Qutbuddin Aibak, as his representative to rule India. It was happened in 1195 CE. It means India was continuously ruled after the defeat of Prithviraj under Qutbuddin Aibak's control, but actually he was a representative, so it could be said that India was under the control of Muhammad Ghori by the representation of Qutbuddin Aibak. Okay, but in 1205 Muhammad Ghori died and his successors sent one letter to Qutbuddin Aibak, and in the letter it was written that he is free from the control of Muhammad Ghori. So in that way, after 1205, Qutbuddin Aibak became India's independent ruler, and he declared himself as the Sultan of India, and he was ruling from Delhi. So in that way, by 1206 in India, the rule started by the name of Delhi Sultanate. In this period, we all know that originally the rulers were coming from were Pathans. So they were knowing Turkish language, Persian language, Arabic language. But in India, the Indians were using their own language, dialect and script. So they were using their own languages. Right, my friend?